Welcome back to another round of 16 preview and predictions. We've got an exciting lineup for next week. Honestly, let's just get right into it.
But before we get started, make sure you hit the like button, subscribe if you're not already subscribed, get us to 100 subs, we're almost there, and get in the comments, let us know what you think is going to happen in these games.
Let's just honestly start talking about Tuesday's game. Frankfurt versus Napoli at Frankfurt. It's going to be pretty simple. I mean, it is what it is. Napoli is just that team at the current moment.
Yeah, Napoli are that team. Like, they're just one of the most dominant sides in Europe right now. Absolutely running away with the Serie A title.
Take it easy now.
They are. They're running away with it. Absolutely dominating that league. And I mean, in the Champions League, they've been insane. Defensively going forward, they've been super solid. Midfield has been great. I mean, Elmas having a season of his life. Zambo and Gisa. I mean, we haven't even talked about the insanely deadly duo, Victor Osimhen and Kvara. They're able to combine.
What's his last name?
Kvaratskhelia?
Okay.
Yeah, what?
Good pronunciation.
Come on now.
Okay.
I mean, look, Frankfurt got through a pretty difficult group, pretty competitive group with Marseille, Sporting, and Spurs.
Yeah,
so obviously
100%.
they have quality. They're here for a reason. But I mean, Napoli has just been too dominant. I mean, defensively, they got rid of Koulibaly in the summer, and they've, the scouting has just been brilliant. They got Kim, who's one of the best center backs in Serie A this season. And then, like I said, Kvara has just been one of the breakout players in the world. He's looking like a future Ballon d'Or, contender.
Oh, that's a big shout.
No, I mean,
him.
it's a big shout, but like ability-wise, like you can see that he can get to that level.
Yeah, 100%.
So I mean, look, like they're just, they have lots of quality. I think it's just gonna be too much for Frankfurt at the end of the day. They're gonna dominate the ball. Despite it being in Frankfurt, I'm going to go with the comfortable Napoli win, 3-0. Despite the way the first games of the Champions League knockouts were going, I'm a bit wary of giving Napoli too many goals because it was just teams were playing a bit scared.
Yeah, 100%.
I feel like in the first game so
100%.
far. But for me, I think Napoli are just going to go for it. They're going to be confident and they're going to take it away 3-0.
Yeah, I mean, that's a great prediction. They don't have like an off switch like you mentioned. They just go and go and go. I mean, just recently, Osimhen had 9 shots today. That's like damn near unheard of in a game. So, I mean, credit to Osimhen, credit to the board, honestly. In a day and an age where spending $100 million is casual, they chose to, find the right players to get this group going. I mean, we haven't even talked about the coach, Spalletti, Inter Milan coach. They didn't believe in him, fired him, got Antonio Conte. Look what happened to them. Granted, they did win the league, but Spalletti at Napoli, before that, Napoli was looking very, very mid-table.
Yeah, like Europa League side, so
100%. And Spalletti's got these guys bumping like crazy. And I honestly, all credit to the board, credit to Spalletti. Osimhen's looking like a world beater. Kvara, world beater, of course, we all know this, but it's a Cinderella team, and I wouldn't be surprised that they make it very, very far into this tournament. With that being said, we can't overlook Frankfurt, of course. They're doing decent, not too bad. I think past couple of seasons, they were a bit better, but I think, again, like you mentioned, Napoli is going to be comfortable. I think it's going to be 2-0 to Napoli, 100%, but we can go ahead and move on to the next game here
probably
for Tuesday.
The biggest game of this week. Liverpool versus Real Madrid at Anfield. It's going to be interesting to see. You were describing it as a mid-off.
I think so. I
wouldn't say it's a mid-off.
Honestly, just look at, on paper, the difference 1 year makes with those both teams. Maybe not Madrid so much on paper, but on the field at least. Like, it's a drastic difference.
Madrid, I think they had a very hectic season last season. Obviously, their Champions League run was unbelievable. They're still quite strong this season. Obviously, Barca have the edge over them in La Liga. But I mean, look, Liverpool, obviously, the definition of mid this season. They're quite literally mid-table in the Premier League.
Yeah. Struggling
with injuries. The fact that it's at Anfield is like their only crutch. We know what Anfield nights in Champions League, whatever.
League nights, yeah, of course.
I don't know how much of an impact that's going to have for them. I don't know if they're going to be able to control Madrid. For me, I think Madrid is going to dominate this game. They're going to go to Anfield. They're going to get a 2-1 win. It won't be easy, but they'll get the win. They'll get the goals they need. It's going to be basically the two counter-attacking teams going at it. I think, like I said, Madrid's going to have the edge.
Okay. I mean, it's not a bad prediction. I think it might be a bit of a high prediction, high-scoring game. I don't think it could be
It might not be as high-scoring.
I don't think it will be, to be fair. Like you mentioned, Liverpool is struggling with injuries. They still haven't found replacements. We've talked about this. Gini Wijnaldum. Still haven't found a replacement with him. Sadio Mane, Still haven't found a replacement with him. I mean, Diaz was looking great. Diogo Jota, of course, was looking great. He is back, I believe. Diogo Jota should be making an appearance. Maybe not starting the game, but making an appearance for sure. But I mean, Klopp can't get this team inspired enough. I don't think so.
Klopp should be getting questioned. Been saying that all season.
It's just, I don't think Liverpool's got what it takes. They're gonna have to rely on the crowd heavy for them to get anything out of this result. I think it's going to be 1-0 to Real Madrid. Benzema, Vinny, the whole cast, Modric, Kroos, they're still firing. Champions League, Real Madrid is Mr. Champions League team. 1-0. Well, we can move on to the Wednesday night teams. Porto versus Inter at Milan. Pretty interesting. I think it's a very even game in just the sense of form, the team, the structure, the way that they play all together. It's going to be a very back and forth game, I feel like. Inter is not really known for making runs into Champions League, but I mean, who knows? Inzaghi's a completely new coach than what we've seen in recent teams. I think that it's going to be a pretty even match, 1-1. That's my prediction straight up.
1-1. Yeah, that's a solid prediction, but it is at the San Siro. That sounds like a pretty biased prediction, in my opinion, for an AC Milan fan.
I'm just calling it how it's.
Look, I just think Inter, they've had a rough Champions League record in the past. They did get through a difficult group. They got Barca into the Europa League. And for me, I think they're going to do a bit better in Champions League this season. They don't have Antonio Conte anymore. I think he was holding them back in the Champions League specifically. I think they're going to dominate Porto. I think, they're going to have majority of the ball.
Dominate, okay.
I think they're going to have majority of the ball. Obviously, Porto are a decent side, but I think, Inter is just going to come away with a 1-0 win.
Any one-to-watch players for Inter? Or?
Yeah, I would say up top, I would say Edin Dzeko. I mean, we know this guy is a vet. One of the most underrated strikers of our generation, probably. I mean, he's still going at it, doing very well with Inter this season. His partnership with Lautaro is clicking.
Benching Lukaku as well.
Benching Lukaku. Lukaku thought he was going to have a nice homecoming back to Inter after his flop season with Chelsea. Edin Dzeko's keeping him out the starting 11.
100%.
So, I mean, and as well as, DeMarco, I think DeMarco has been a crucial part of Inter's team this season.
Yeah, he's been very solid.
Very good left-sided player, wand of a left foot. He's going to be very crucial for, putting those crosses in for Dzeko and Lautaro. So, I think Inter will dominate this game. I think it won't be easy for them. I think it'll be a 1-0 win, and they'll take it back to Porto, in a few weeks' time.
Okay. I'm not mad at that.
And last but not least, one more game to talk about. That is Leipzig versus Manchester City. We saw this matchup happen last season in the group stage, and it came away with a 1-6-3 win for Manchester City. And then I believe Leipzig took the second group stage game over Manchester City. But at that point, City had already won the group, I believe. So, I mean, it'll be I think there's a potential for this to be goals galore, high scoring game. You got two very good attacking sides, but at the same time, I think Manchester City have been playing a lot better over the last few games with Ruben Diaz coming back, Laporte getting more minutes back into the system, Kyle Walker as well. We're looking better defensively, so I think it'll be difficult for Leipzig, even though it is in Germany. For me, I'm just going to go with this 2-1 win. I think we will concede because Leipzig are just a good attacking team. But I think we'll come away with the win and take it back to the Etihad.
Okay, interesting. I mean, Manchester City, I think they're definitely a stronger side than last season's campaign.
You think so?
Erling Haaland, we can't not talk about this guy.
That's facts.
Coming back to another Bundesliga team. Mm-hmm. He knows them really well, of course, playing at Dortmund in the past. But I think what Leipzig, they know what they need to do. They got to sit back and play that counterattack game in order to try to get a result, despite it being in their home stadium here. But I think Man City just got so much firepower. They're coming off a win at Arsenal. I think that's going to give them a big boost. They got a very deep bench. So, I mean, rotating is not going to be an issue for them. I think it's going to be a very cool 3-0 win at Leipzig. You already said it last season. They scored 6. They bagged 6 against them.
Yeah.
I mean...
And that was without Haaland. You mentioned Haaland. I think he's the missing piece for Manchester City in the Champions League. Over the years, we've had some pretty good Champions League players. I mean, Aguero's record in the Champions League was not bad at all. In recent years, Mars has been carrying the weight in the knockout stages, as well as De Bruyne, always a good player in the Champions League. But I think Haaland is just that different piece that City need in the Champions League. His Champions League record is insane. And I think, in this against a former team that he's played against lots in his career, he'll probably be bagging a few.
All right, well, I think that's going to do it for this round of 16 predictions and previews. Make sure you guys like, subscribe, and see y'all next time. Peace.